you were in the music industry for a little bit.
Long time, yeah.
How did those correlate, and how did you kind of cross between sports and music industry? How old were you when you got into it?
I was 21 years old when I truly got fully into music. Some of my best friends had a band called Steadfast.
Okay.
They were a high school band. They were really, really good. They were really good. Meaning, if they would have never broke up based on contracts, they would have been the next Linkin Park. They'd have been the next somebody out of St. Louis. Like they were the story of the year. Were their best friends. They played shows together. Like they were really, really fucking good. Then Nelly's producer J.E. got on there, started producing them, mixing them. One of my best friends, Jason Bridges, who made Shake Your Tail Feather over and over again. I had some friends that made some heavy-hitting songs in St. Louis. Chingy went to high school with me, knew Quan from back in the day. So I knew a lot of these guys for a long time. So I got a keyboard, started playing around with it, started making these little beats that were just they were terrible, let's be honest. They were terrible. And then my boy John Hill came over one time. This guy I've known my whole life. And I knew he could rap, but I didn't know like how good he could rap. I'm like, yeah, sure, he's a white guy from North County, but you're not going to be really good. You know, he started rapping one day over one of my beats. I was like, oh, my God. I'm like, man, we could do something with this.
Really?
We could for real do something with this. But me, I wasn't going to be the beat maker, so we reached out to, his name's Wally Beeman, and he was part of Basement Beats. And we bought 10 tracks off him.
Okay.
So
how much did that cost you at the time?
$5,000. And then we met with this guy named Flex, who used to work with Pac and a bunch of people back in the days from St. Louis, and bought some more beats. Got some studio time, recorded them. Then I built the studio in my basement, and then I started doing all the recording for us. Then we started taking this shit seriously because we put out a mixtape that we didn't buy beats. We just made the mixtape. It was jacking beats. So it was just rapping over somebody else's stuff. And we were down at, it was a place called The Drink on the Landing at the time. And because Goody Mob, I don't know if you know who Goody Mob is, Big Gip, these guys from Atlanta, they were in town working with Ali and the Lunatics. Well, we handed Big Gip and Ali one of John's mixtapes when they were on the way down to The Drink because it was one of Jaquan's parties. And by the time we got there, Big Gip gets out and shakes John's hand. He's like, bro, you're unbelievable. Ali from Lunatics is like, man, you got it, kid. And, you know, that was like the sign. We're like, all right, man, let's keep this going. You know, so that was a mixtape that we did. We started producing all our own music, started doing really big things, recorded with Akon, Royce 5'9". We were on DJ Khaled's mixtape, DJ K-Slay's mixtape, and things started rolling. I mean, started doing really, really good with it. We had Def Jam reaching out to us. We had 50 Cent. He put John's music on 50 Cent's main website. John was on the homepage of his website with one of the songs with Akon. We had a lot of cool shit going with it. Then in the process, we didn't realize how emotionally bad John was getting, that he started taking a lot of prescription drugs and would hide it, and we didn't know this. Then he nodded off in the booth one night over at Coco's house. And the next day, or about a week later, Def Jam reached back out to us. They said, send us this type of song. We want to see if he can produce this type of song, because he's like an East Coast rapper. So, like, he was more like a Nas, you know, those guys. That's what he loved, is East Coast rap. So they asked us if he can produce more of a St. Louis sound type song. We're like, yeah, we can. You know, we got fucking Nelly's producers. We can do whatever you want. Which actually was a struggle, I'm going to be honest with you.
Really?
You know, just because he just loved lyrics. Like, he was a lyricist, you know? Like, making that pop candy shit wasn't the thing.
Yeah.
But we had a couple really, really good ones. So he's coming over to lay the hook down at my house. He gets in a car accident. He hits a semi. Woke up face first, covered in blood, face down, found God, didn't do music for 10 years. 10 years. We were right there. So here's another thing. If he had already started making money doing music, like, his wife pulled him out and he pulled himself out, but if that was his career at the time, he would never stop. He would just stop doing the prescription drugs and the drugs he was doing. Because he got, man, you know, when people say they see somebody start taking Oxycontin, Xanax, like, I've seen more people fucked up on those drugs than the hardcore drugs. Like, the prescription drugs will take you down a fucking bad, bad hole. And they did. They took him down a bad hole. And found, you know, they pulled him out. But if he was actually making music for a career, he would have never stopped. And we were probably, no joke, Jack, we were probably 90 days away from getting him a fat ass check. Like, it was right fucking there. And since then, here's another thing. I mean, all the guys that ended up getting record deals in St. Louis, they used to open John shows. Stevie Stone used to open John shows. Jenna used to open John shows. All these guys got signed to Jermaine Dupri, to Killer Mike, Trackstar. You know, he's Killer Mike's DJ
Gotcha.
right now. And like, all these guys were like pushing John, and no white dudes made it out of St. Louis yet.
There hasn't been a single white dude to make it out of St. Louis.
Now he's got a record deal. Nobody. He was
Wow.
the first. He was the leader of his pack at that point. So then he came back, started making music. Man, we got him back on the radar. Like, we got him making some big songs and doing some stuff. And then
And this is how long after? This is
8 years,
8
10
years
years.
in? Okay.
Yeah, 8 years, 10 years after. So at that point, I had already started an ad agency. Me and Jimmy, we started doing a lot of stuff. Life took its place. Took time. We actually had other artists after that. We had my cousin Christina, who could sing. Kenny Knox, who got locked up at the time. You know, but then he came back. It was like a refresher. Like, fuck yeah, John's back. We could do this. You know, let's make it happen. And then 2.5 years ago, shot himself.
from today?
Yeah. And changed my life forever, because honestly, I was still doing music 2.5 years ago. Like,
Really?
I was gonna rebuild a studio in my basement. I mean, no joke. As of 2.5 years ago, I would have told you this year by this time he would have made it. It didn't matter his age, and we're 43. He looked fucking 25. Like,
Really?
he made music better than all that. I would still be making music, and I wouldn't be sitting here with you today if John didn't shoot himself, because he would have made it, no question about it. So life changed after that.
How does that transition? What transition in his life? Because got on the right track, presumably after those 8 years, and
You know, I don't have an answer for that. You know, he was sober. He took his life sober. So when we thought he was on drugs, it was one thing, but he took his life sober, and that for me was really hard to grasp.
why?
You know, because I always thought problems were chemically induced, and then after this happened, you realize, you know, he was talking about he has this pain inside him he can't get away, and that's where the drugs came in. It masked the pain. When he was sober, the pain was worse. It was like he kind of left us a video, and he was just like, the pain is so strong, I can't explain to anybody what it is, and I want to hurt myself every single day. And he's got 2 beautiful kids, beautiful wife, great job, made over $100,000 a year, like, made music. Like, if you looked at him and said, you wouldn't be like, what are you sad about, you know? And you can't pinpoint anything on him, and that's what bothers me, is that, like, there was no saving him. And, you know, there's a lot of friends in your life that you're like, that take their life because they're drunk and they make an emotional decision, right? I had 3 friends that past year that we talked about that took their life from emotional decisions. I don't believe this was an emotional decision. That's what's really hard for me, is like, and even more fucked up sounding, because I believe in Jesus and I believe in heaven and hell and I believe in suicide and all that stuff. I mean, I almost think he's in a better place. Like, the amount of pain that he described, I couldn't imagine feeling that every single day. You know, you're just like, wow. But go back to the good stuff. That's where my life came from. Music. Music was everything to me. Like, it was my whole life. It built me who I am. You know what I learned? I learned that owning a record label is what started marketing for me, because a record label is just a good marketing company. Anybody that pushes music is just a giant marketing company. That's all they are. Yeah, you got to make good music, but once it's past the music, that's when the record labels grab it. They're like, okay, you've made a good music. Come on, let's go over here. Let's distribute this stuff. It's all a marketing company. So then I just started a marketing agency, me and my boy Jimmy, which transpired into everything that I do now, is because I just understand marketing because of music like that. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, was understanding and connecting those two, that music, marketing, the world, everything needs to be marketed. You know,
that's right.
And it changed everything. It changed my whole perspective on life.
Everything, like, give that Instagram. You know, I'm upgrading my Instagram a little bit. I'm getting some more interaction with the ladies on there. So, hey, you know, it's all on there. But that's what we're trying to do. Like, we're essentially trying to be a record label for podcasts. It's like what the business is that I'm trying to build. But
dude, that's a pretty cool idea. You know, when you put it that way, like, I think that's a really fucking badass idea. So you want to get in, even if you don't record them, you want to push them.
Yep.
Man, I love that.
So
idea.
that's the goal, man.
Like, I'll help connect you to some people that need to be pushed.
Fuck yeah.
Like, here's the thing. My boy Joey Yak, he's got this studio that I go do my stuff, right? But they're just recording them for people, and then those people are putting them out on their own platforms. So they're not like they're not like marketing those deals. They're just the production side of it, which is like a music label. Your producers produce the music. The record label pushes the music. Right. So I've never even thought about that concept. I don't even know anybody's doing that.
And
that's like
yeah.
Who? Like, who's doing that? Who do you know? I've never even heard of that.
I found one guy who's doing it, and I get mentored by him now.
Jack, I think that's fucking genius, bro.
Fuck yeah.
I think that's fucking genius, dude. That's
I love to hear that.
Because everybody's doing podcasts, right? So you can't be, hey, I want to go and produce your podcast. You can because you guys do it, right? Mm-hmm. But everybody's got a camera these days. Everybody's setting things up these days. But nobody's saying, here, I'll help you distribute it. Besides putting it in our channels, we'll help pump your channels. We'll help get this stuff out there.
That's right. Yeah, like, everything, every part of it too. And that's where, that's interesting. Our model is going out. So, we could almost be a lead funnel for these studios too. So then we go, hey, you can't get these people because they want to do their podcast at their house or whatever. We'll go out, record for them at their house, grow it for them. And then we bring him back into the studio.
Dude, I need to introduce you to Joey. Cool. He needs that right now. Like,
fuck yeah.
He needs that right fucking now. He needs more people that can do this and be out doing it in the area. So I got to connect for you right now that already probably can start kicking you guys' business.
Fuck yeah. Dude, that sounds great, man.
Yeah. You hear that yet?
Hey, that's right, baby.
So here's the thing that I met everybody. I meet everybody through music. So I met Yak through music. So Joey was Yak Boy Fresh. He was signed to Nelly at the time. He's a white kid, but he never made it big. So when I say nobody out of St. Louis has made it, it's that. But he was signed to Nelly, great rapper. Got sober, same exact way, was getting all fucked up. I met him on Nelly's EI tour. So he was on Nelly's EI tour, and so was my cousin Christina. So we traveled to like 40 cities together on this tour with Nelly's crew. And he just realized that, like, he didn't want to live that life. And because he was on tour with Bone Thugs, all this other stuff, then he started producing music for businesses. And then he's like, all right, well, not everybody wants a jingle. And then he said, how can you transition this? And he started just recording reels and videos and all this stuff. And now he's built an awesome studio. It's got 3 different podcast setups in there.
It looks great. Yeah, it's fucking great.
Dude, he's got this LED wall. It's got probably 300 monitors on it that you can connect. I'll put the LED wall together.
Shit.
It's nasty, dude. It's absolutely nasty, dude. I mean, it'd even be a good spot there where you guys don't do, like, this in somebody's home. If you need a place to go to, like, dude, I'm telling you, that place would be awesome for you guys to do some setup stuff in there. Bring in your own equipment, just use the wall. Like, it's nasty.
Great. Hell yeah. Yeah, so, but that's what's so, like, the music industry that you touched on is so interesting to me because it's like, yeah, you could be a fucking insane rapper. Like, lyrically, you have all of the right things, but if you're not making music that's resonating with the crowd, then you got nothing, right? Like, in learning about marketing, what are you learning about the human psychology? What are you learning about how people react to things?
Well, 2 different questions there. Meaning, one, the biggest thing I've learned in music and sports is, I'll tell you what, it's not only the talent. To be able to make it in a sport, you could be the best player on the ice, but you got to be coachable. You got to show up. You got to do your job. You got to be disciplined. In music, you could be the best rapper on planet Earth. Like, I'm talking fucking nasty. You got to be marketable. You got to listen. You're going to have to do things sometimes you don't want to do, make songs you don't want to make, which unfortunately, everybody's like, that's selling out. That's selling out. No, that's how you get paid, and then you can push your own stuff, right? Yeah, you got to play the game.
Yep.
Anybody that doesn't play the game doesn't make it. And we could sit here and argue all day long. Well, this guy and Master P and bullshit. They still played the game. I promise you did. They promise you they did. They found songs that got hooked on. But the best people aren't the ones that make it. Like, you could sit here and tell me that there's probably 25 rappers in St. Louis that are 10 times better than Nelly. 10 times better than Nelly. They will never see the fucking light of day. Ever see the light of day, because they're still stuck in the hood selling drugs and they can't get out of it, right? Same way with sports. Same way with business. Like, doesn't mean, like, you don't have to be the best to make it. You just got to be disciplined. You got to work and you got to listen. And that's the difference in mentality, too. That's the psychology behind it, is too many people get stuck on they're the best and they're owed that. You ain't owed shit.
That's right.
Nobody knows you shit. fucking work and do your fucking job. That's how you make it. That's how you win the last game right there.
Amen. What makes someone marketable? What from what you've seen, what type of person is it? Could it be fucking anything, or is it just
depends on what type of stuff you're doing? You got to be relatable. So if you're making country music, you better be a fucking country motherfucker.
So marketable and relatable are pretty intertwined.
100%, no question about it. Yeah. You have a jelly roll that's like breaks the mold, right? Every once in a while, you got somebody like that, and that's not just in music. I'm talking in business. You have somebody like, dude, you're in sweatpants and a t-shirt, and you're a billionaire. Like, what are you doing? Like, how did you pull that off? So you have people that break the mold, but that doesn't change the fact there is a mold, and that like it goes like that. And you're absolutely right. Being marketable and being relatable are 100% intertwined. You got to intertwine those things, because if you're not relatable, you're not even marketable. So the other side goes out the fucking window if you're not marketable.
Yeah,
you have to be.
There's this quote that I fucking love. It's by Carl Rogers, I want to say. It's the most personal is the most universal. Meaning,
dude, text me that.
Oh yeah, will do.
Like that's dude. That right there is unbelievable.